So I have in my possession, as of recently, from a thrift store, an ENSONIQ SQ-2 personal music studio. This was gotten at a Goodwill in Alabama. And honestly, seeing a synthesizer in a thrift store in Alabama is like seeing a unicorn for me. So I'm very lucky to have scooped it up for the price that I did. So the ENSONIQ SQ-2, everybody knows ENSONIQ, that's why I kind of jumped at it, is because of the name brand, you know, the ASR-10, lots of samplers, lots of keyboards. So what to me looked like an 80s era ENSONIQ rompler was really exciting because I wanted a rompler for a long time. I'm very into that like jungle drum and bass sound of the 90s and early 2000s, the knots or whatever have you. So ENSONIQ is a trusted brand to me. I've seen a lot of their samplers, like I said, the ASR-10 used by Cypress Hill's DJ Muggs. The Alchemist famously used it. You can see clips of him using it on like the Prodigy DVD, making Hold You Down. Kanye famously hooked it up to an MPC 2000. Just the list goes on. RZA, I believe, used an earlier version of the ASR-10 around the Gravediggers era, I believe. But you know, ENSONIQ is a trusted brand, and a nice cheesy 80s sound sounds pretty good right about now. So information is kind of scarce on this keyboard online. Like, obviously you can find things about it, but something that you don't really know immediately is that the SQ-2 isn't really a sequel. It's really a 76 key version of the SQ-1 Plus. So the SQ-1 was a 1990 synth rompler, and the SQ-1 Plus was a sequel that came out in 1991. And I believe from my research that the SQ-2 and SQ-1 Plus are both from 1991. Like the SQ-2 was like the upper budget version of it with aftertouch and a bigger key bed. But otherwise, if you just look at images of them side by side, they're exactly the same.
I've owned the rack version, the SQ-R Plus, for about 15 years now. It'll work fine for your application. Difficult to program from the front panel. Too many parameters, and you set them one at a time pretty much. But there are enough presets in the vein of what you want. It excels at airy pads and bell sounds, which were all the rage back in the day. The D50, the DX7, and the M1. Number one con is the backup lithium battery. It's soldered to the main circuit board rather than socketed. You have to take the synth apart to get at it. Number two con for synth sounds only is the filters don't have resonance, so it's no good at filter sweep sounds.
Yeah, it's way too loud. So I've learned a lot about how to work this thing. I've made a lot of sounds. So we're gonna make a sound from scratch right now. So I figured out a initialize preset. Oh, by the way, this compare button is very important. So you're gonna want to do something. So like you make a synth sound. So this is my initialize preset. But as long as I hit compare, there's a sound I made. There's the initialize. So I could do literally anything. Like I could go up here. Maybe I want to change the amount that it bends by, right? Like I've wanted to do that before I learned about the compare button. So I wanted to change the amount the pitch wheel bends by so I could get a big pitch bend. Well, then you try to go back to your synth. My synth's gone. It's just gone. No, you hit compare. So you can do anything. I could switch presets. I could go anywhere in this thing just so long as I don't open the edit of the other synth and change any parameters. I could always go compare back to the one because it's in the edit buffer, they call it. So what we're going to do is let's try to do something I've never done. Let's try to make a kick. So I'm just going to solo right here. I'm going to wave. There's drum sounds I noticed. There's drum waves. Yeah, drum wave. We're also going to turn off the effects because we don't really need them. We don't need reverb. Maybe we want to have like a distortion later. So envelope. Let's go to amplitudes. Let's try to get this thing loud. Full on. Enter. We got a filter going on, don't we? There we go. That was a high pass. That was really messing me up. Okay. Okay, so that's a low pass. So now what we can do is we can go to output. I believe it's an output, or is it in pitch? It's in pitch. We can turn off the tracking. So you can't really see, but I'm hitting all up and down the keyboard and it's playing the same tone. So let's try to get something cooking. It confuses me, but we're gonna try to. Oops, did I just save that preset? Fuck! See, I just accidentally saved over my initialized preset, but that's okay. Edit. So make sure you don't hit enter while you do that. Okay. Pitch envelope 1. Let's try to get. I don't know. Well, first of all, let's make sure the pitch is being affected by envelope 1 so we can hear what we're doing. See, so it's doing nothing right now. So if we go here. Pull this down, what does that do? Now let's change the amount of time. Something. Let's try to change the wave and see what that does. Well, this is kind of cheating if it's a drum wave. Let's just switch it to a sine wave and try to make a kick from scratch. Maybe that's what I want. Sine. Yeah, see, so that's better. Probably need to turn on this level so it doesn't come back up, right? Oh, we're clipping like crazy. Okay, so now since we're not, we need to, whoops, I need to go here. So the tracking's off, so now I want to pitch this down a ton so we can have like a kick. We can probably make like a gabber kick. See, that's what I want right there, if you can hear that. That's really what I'm looking for here. So let's, what do we want to do here? Let's change the envelope. Maybe the time here. Maybe we want to do the time faster. Yeah, see, now let's do that to the amp. Let's use an amp preset. There's one called blip, I believe, where we can short blip percussion. Let's see what that does. So let's get to a blip though. Short blip. See, that's too short of a blip. Let's see if we can edit that. Now let's see here. Okay, so we're learning things. So this is decay right here, that second one. So attack, decay, sustain, release, I believe. Now let's get an effect going. Let's see if we can get a nice distortion. Compress, distort. So now let's output, dry. I wish I could turn off that reverb. Is there any way? So I believe this is the distortion. Let's turn these both down. So that's the reverb. Or is that the verb? Let's try to see if we can get into the effects. Decay time, let's turn that down. I think that's a reverb. So distortion level. Yeah, see, that's, now we're making some damn gabber here. I'm looking at my audio interface and it's clipping like crazy. Chorus rate, let's turn down the depth. Yeah, if the depth's down, this doesn't do anything. So there we have, we just made a gabber kick. Ain't that neat, guys?